If the father of the nation of Israel, Abraham, or, known as Father Abraham, dealt with anxiety and fear and nervousness, then we can deal with it too. He was literally barren, not barren, his wife was barren, and he was childless up until he was about 80s and 90s. And then, because he was afraid, because his wife was afraid too, he decided to have a son with a maidservant named Hagar, and they had a son named Ishmael. Now, Abraham dealt with anxiety a lot through his journey with the Lord. In my most recent video, I talked about that, how he would say Sarah was not his wife but his sister, and she would get taken by a king, and then usually he would end up having to go pray for the king, and the king would give her back. And he kept dealing with this. But in Hebrews, in literally the Hall of Faith that we see in the Hebrews chapter, Abraham is literally described as being one of the most faithful people in the Bible, one of the most loyal. He had some of the best faith in the Bible, so much so that when God commanded him to kill his only son and sacrifice him, he was going to do that. And, Abraham had dealt his whole life. He was like, I'm childless. God's saying I'm going to have a great nation come to me. How is that going to happen? How do I trust God? What's going to happen with all this? But he did. He dealt with all this fear and anxiety, and then he messed up sometimes with this fear and anxiety, but he still made it through, and he still became a hero of the faith. And the blessings that God bestowed upon him were fulfilled through him, through his only son, Isaac. And we see his faith rewarded upon to him in the end, when he decided he would sacrifice his son Isaac for him, and then God stopped him and said, do not do that, and sent a ram in. And that is, an example of the crucifixion, God foreshadowing the crucifixion. And he said, Abraham, through you, I'm going to bless the nations. All the nations of the earth will be blessed through your bloodline. And we see that a couple thousand years later, Jesus came through and blessed the nations with salvation. I'll see you guys. Go watch my recent video it's called Genesis Part 2, and it's on the journey of Abraham. Thank you, guys.